It's simple to see it's at Magic TV, so the world can believe it's at Magic TV.
I'm here with Rock Riddle, the original Mr. Wonderful. Hello, Mr. Riddle.
The original Mr. Wonderful of professional wrestling. Here on a typical Hollywood day. We're out here, the wind is blowing my hair. I have an event going on inside, and yet I'm here talking to you. But I'll be nice.
Tell me about today's event.
Today's event, we are at a beautiful private estate in the hills of Hollywood, California. We look down, we look down on Universal Studios. We take a look at the entire valley. We see partially obscured by the clouds at the moment, but we could see the snow on the mountains. On the other side there of that little hill is the Hollywood sign, of course. So this is an event that I put together about every 3 months. We bring out producers, directors, heads of studios. We bring out some really amazing professional actors. What else do you want to know? There is someone back there smoking. Can you imagine that anyone would smoke? Wind is blowing it. We have to deal with that. We have to put that poison in our lungs. I think if the person had the courage to do it quickly, that would be fine. Slow suicide. Oh, I can do slow suicide. Oh, I'm trying to stop. Guess what? I'm trying to grab the microphone. Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't work. And be upwind of me. Be considerate. Yes.
Tell me about some of the barriers you've encountered in your career.
Barriers in which career? The wrestling business?
In the wrestling business, yes.
I have encountered very few barriers.
Any obstacles you had to overcome?
Well, barriers, obstacles, the same thing. I weighed 130 pounds when I was in high school when I decided I was going to become a professional wrestler. People said, and I grew up in North Carolina, so they said, your bone structure's too small. That's a pipe dream. You'll never, ever be able to be a wrestler. You'd have to gain 100 pounds. Why don't you just get yourself a job like your daddy? He's been working in the drugstore since he's 14. You know he's going to have that house paid for in another 8 years. I don't know why anybody won't leave the county. Got everything you want right here. Yes, if I wanted to grow tobacco or if I wanted to make socks at Burlington Mills. But I was a little bit beyond that. I don't know if you hear it in my voice, but there's still maybe a tiny bit of contempt for small-town thinking and people who want to limit everyone else because they are so much afraid to go for their dreams. You see, very seriously, I had a dream. When I was 14 years old, I saw my first professional wrestling match, and I watched two of the most amazing professional wrestlers. I'm a little kid, I'm 14, sitting in the living room on the floor with my jaw dropped because I saw these two bad guys, bleached blonde bad guys. And I said, oh my gosh. And they beat up the good guys. And I said, they're cocky and they're arrogant and they're condescending. Finally, I have role models. You see, I never had a strong role model. But I found everybody hated him. And he was, from my point of view, doing everything he could to keep from smiling because he was having such joy. And I said, that's great. He's manipulating these sheep because he's not one of the sheep. He's the leader. He's the shepherd. He's the man who goes out and lives that dream. So I said, when I was 16 years old, 2 years later, on my 16th birthday, I said, I'm going to become a professional wrestler. As of that moment, I never, ever had any doubt that it would happen. People said, oh, it can't happen, you can't do it, it's impossible. And I just laughed at them. It's like, these people are so stupid. These people are so unaware, ignorant, as meaning unaware. They're so ignorant, they don't understand that if you can have a dream, you can achieve that dream. I was sitting in the barber chair in this little town adjacent to my town where I grew up, and it's called Graham, North Carolina. It's a house. There's a little bitty shack-type one-room thing built on. That's the barber chair, one barber chair. Old barber in there, and he basically said what I had said before. Boy, your bone structure's too small, you'll never do it, etc. 5 years later, I made it a point, because I had been wrestling professionally for a few years at that time. I made it a point to go back to Central North Carolina. I had a wrestling match. I wrestled the former heavyweight champion of the world and someone who was almost a deity there to the people in North Carolina by the name of George Becker. And I beat him in the main event, caused a little riot, not a big riot, but a little riot. And I believe it was 2 days later I was sitting in the exact same barber chair. And he was cutting my hair and he just stopped. And he got out from behind the chair and he walked around and he looked at me. He said, he just shook his head. He said, "You done it. I didn't think it was possible. You know, I don't believe nothing's impossible no more." I said, okay. I educated him to a new way of thinking. And I had the satisfaction of saying, impossible? Watch. Up here is a little pin. I'm a private pilot. This is Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association. And one of the things that we pilots know, and all aeronautical engineers know, and all scientists know, is that bumblebees cannot fly. The bodies are too big. The wings are too small. If you were to build an exact duplicate, an exact model, and the wings were exactly the same, you turn it on, have a little battery in there, turn it on, it's going to get bzzz directly into the ground. Because it's totally impossible for them to fly. Bumblebees don't know they can't fly, so they fly anyway. Most people know they cannot succeed, therefore they cannot. I'll tell you, I can show you things that... I can show you things that are not supposed to be able to be accomplished by human beings. I can show you voluntary control of involuntary bodily functions and movements. I can stop. I'll tell you this. And it's not just because I'm all that amazing. It's just because I don't see limitations. Rules apply to other people. They don't apply to me. I was sitting in my doctor's office several years back, and he was doing experimental things for people who were dying, and he was really on the cutting edge and alienated a lot of people. He was one of my neighbors in my office building. And I had a little bit of a cold, so I was in there. He said, "Come on in." And he sat down. Strangely, no doctor has ever done this before or after. We were sitting down in chairs facing each other, and he was holding both of my wrists. I had just told him, I said, "You know, I have control that most people don't." I said, "I can control, like," and he says, "What, you don't believe what I'm saying?" He says, "No, I'm not getting a pulse on the right side." I said, "Would you like to see me switch it?" I said, "I will stop my heart if I can be assured that you will start it again for me in case I can't restart it." He says, "I believe you." And now out here I could show you something, but people would look at this and they would say, "Well, it looks like it's cold out there." But I can show you in a warm place. I can hold out my arm and you can zoom in on that arm. You want to do this? We'll do it. You could say, "Well, it's cold out here, but watch this." No goosebumps, but watch. You see them come up?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll take it away.
Wow, that's very impressive.
That's just a little something. No one can do that. Everyone's a victim. They have no control over anything. Do you know why I'm 450 pounds? It's not my fault. That's McDonald's fault. Really? Do you know why I can't succeed? It's because of that group over there. It's because of that group over there. It's because of that group over there. Your people are holding me back. His people are holding me back. His people. Baloney, no one's holding me back. Everyone is exactly where they want to be. What about people who live on the street? Who put them there? Who put them there? And then you have other people who go by and say, "Oh, okay, give this homeless person $1. What a disservice you've just done to that homeless person. You give that person every reason to continue staying where he is. Say no. No, that's not going to help you. That's only going to help perpetuate the situation you've developed for yourself. If you want food, okay, here's the place to go. Here's the church that will give you food. Here's another church that will give you food. Here's another place. Here's a mission that will give you food. You want shelter? You can get shelter. My gosh, do you know how much money the government, no adjective in there, how much money the government is stealing from me, from you, from the cameraman, from all the people who are watching? What? To give to those people who are too lazy to do anything. And they still want more money. I love it when I'm at a supermarket and I'm behind someone who's paying with it's with their welfare checks and their little cards and everything, and they're putting things back and they're doing all of this. And I just stand there. I basically do like this. And if they ever say anything, I said, I'm waiting. They said, well, I'm hurrying. No, I'm not waiting for you to hurry. Well, what are you waiting for? I'm waiting for you to thank me. It's my money that paid for that. How many children do you have now? Oh, we're going to have some more? Get some more money? Great. Isn't it great to have a welfare state? So, how did we get off on politics?
Tell me.
You're almost totally perfect, but watch this. Now, absolutely. Tell you what, sir.
Tell some of the young viewers out there, what advice would you give them to those viewers who have a dream, who want to grow up to be pro wrestlers or actors or whatnot?
Okay. First of all, there are people out there who are called dream stealers. They cannot steal your dream unless you say, here, please take my dream away from me. You think you're going to be a negative influence on me? Anybody? No one can do that. Can they be a negative influence on you? If you want them to. And then you have another excuse for failing. Wow, it's so easy to fail. But let me tell you, if you want to become a professional wrestler, it is the easiest time ever in history to do that. It's not like when we came up. That's the true school of hard knocks. Now there are wrestling schools. And the wrestlers will not deliberately break your bones and hurt you when you come to try out. They take it easy on you. I'm not sure that that's something with which I agree. I think, let's see if this person is really serious. Let's hurt them a little bit. But those are the old days. You have speaking of School of Hard Knocks, Jesse Hernandez, WWE referee, WWE wrestler, retired, now teaches in San Bernardino at a place called the School of Hard Knocks. Professional wrestling ring, anyone? You want to go in there? Go in there. I go down and teach for him. I go down and sit in every once in a while. I was there, when was it? Last week. He didn't know I was going to be there. I showed up and he says, Rock. He says, guys, do you know who this is? And a lot of people did and some did not. He says, Rock, what would you like to do? I said, do you want me to talk to these people? He says, yeah. He says, talk with them, wrestle them, teach them. And I did. Line them up, tie up. Okay. Go over there, tie up. Go over there, tie up. And I asked the people, I said, this guy is a joke. You're a joke. You're not going to hurt me. You're not going to give me a run for my money. I can tell because of the way you come out. I can tell before you tie up. I had them coming up and before they tie up. I said, nope, don't want to work with you. Go away. And then occasionally there's someone who's good. I have to tell you. And there's a lot of points to be made there, but the point is, and I wrestled all of them, one after another, and then I wrestled the teacher, and that was fun. And that was all in my training for something that I did just recently at the LAX Hilton called Wrestle Reunion 5. Beautiful. I was in the ring with some of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. My friend Rowdy Roddy Piper. It was the first time I had faced him in the ring for 20 plus years. It was the first time I'd been in the ring with Terry Funk for well over 20 years. Cowboy Bob Orton, Chavo Guerrero I wrestled in 2007. Mondo Guerrero. Some of the greatest professional wrestlers in the world. And to be able to experience that, I'll tell you, one of the most... Now, I'm sore. I'm sore from it. I'll be sore tomorrow. I've got bruises, and I'm proud of them from that match. But I will tell you this. The thing that amazed me after being in the ring with younger professional wrestlers before and then going in and working one-on-one with the legends, what amazed me, I said afterward to my friend, I can't believe it's so simple. I can't believe I can do all that stuff. I can't believe. And everyone is saying, all the other wrestlers, people who are watching, they're saying, Rock, it's like you never left the ring. You're as good as you ever were. And it was so easy, so simple, just such beauty. When you have two, and I had more than two, but when you have two people who are masters at what they do, and you put them together, that's poetry in motion. We had poetry in motion. Can you see my love of this wrestling business? My love of the entertainment industry? My love of the people who are really outstanding, who really deserve it? If you, right now, if you who are watching, if you have the passion for success in the wrestling business, you truly have the passion, contact me. I'll help you. If you truly have a passion for the entertainment industry, for acting, you want to be out there, you want to be on the big screen, you want to hit, I'll tell you this. Becoming majorly successful in the film and television industry is relatively simple once you understand how the industry works. Once you understand how the wrestling industry works, once you have the respect that you must have for the business. I told those kids when I was over there training, I wiped my boots before I stepped into the ring, and I said, I am stepping on sacred ground. I said, this is such an honor for me to be in this ring. And if you don't feel likewise, then you don't deserve to be in here. And if you feel worthy, step in the ring, and I will give you an amazing experience, and I will teach you things you've never known, and I will make you look so good, and you will. The acting business, I just did a starring role in a television pilot 2 weeks ago. Why? Because I turned down most acting roles, but it was something I wanted to do, and I knew it would open doors for other actor friends. Anything you want, you can have. Whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you're absolutely correct. Rock Riddle, original Mr. Wonderful, HollywoodSuccess.com. Contact me. Come see me. Ask for an autograph. Ask for a picture. I'll be happy to do it. So will everybody else.